love working on guitars and amps because I'm a guitar player, first of all, and I'm always interested in trying to find a new sound. I decided to make myself learn how to do it. I come from a family of, like, my father and my grandfather both worked in electronics, so I had electronics all around me, and just something I had, you know, the curious bug. I started playing guitar when I was 12, and I started taking my guitars apart when I was like 14, and you know, I ruined a lot of things. It was very Eddie Van Halen-like, just ripping up my guitars, trying to figure out where the wires went, breaking the guitars a lot, messing up the pickups to the point where I couldn't go any further other than buying another guitar or something. One thing that people liked about me as a guitar tech is I really know Fender, Jazzmasters, and Jaguars very well. And so people are always trying to figure out how to make those guitars more stable. Those guitars are made to be set up with heavy strings, so, or they're too bright for some people. So I'll just change the pots in them to a lower value to take off some of the high end, or change the bridge. I work with an artist who's, you know, very into his sound and always trying to improve it. And I'll change pickups, you know, sometimes like the next day of a show, tweak the amps, rebias the amps, try different tubes. I discovered early on that amps were a big part of how to get the sound you want. And it took me a while to get the confidence to work on them because there's, you know, a lot of lethal voltage in there. And I didn't know how to drain the voltage at the time. And back then, you couldn't find all the answers on the internet, so you had to talk to people. Once I got going on that, that's my favorite part actually, is amps. I bought a lot of amps trying to find tones I wanted. I did ruin some amps as well too, but not as bad as guitars. I buy a lot of used vintage amps on Craigslist, like ones that have been modded and destroyed in the 80s. And I've seen a lot of crazy mods where people drilled like 20 holes in the back of an old amp, added like a stereo effects loop, added extra tubes for more distortion, and then they only do one sound. They just do like high gain heavy metal, and that's it. And that's, I guess that's what everyone wanted back then. So I've done a lot of mods to those amps, or reversal mods, bringing them back to stock, making the amps more versatile. I've always wanted to try a guitar rig that had like a big frequency output, like maybe put bass pickups in a guitar and run it to different amps. I don't know if anyone would want that, but that's what I always wanted to do. If you're a guitar player and you want to learn more about your gear, maybe if you have a cheaper guitar, I would take that apart and check it out. Learn how to intonate the guitar. That's probably the most important thing. And learn how to raise the action, how to set the tremolo up, and then learn how to do basic soldering. Don't get the cheap soldering iron at Radio Shack. Spend at least like 75 bucks. It's about learning how to use the equipment you have, making a connection with it, and you'll eventually get what you want out of it. I like to troubleshoot. That's my favorite thing to do. It's definitely challenging at times, especially with amps. But when I fix it, it's kind of like a fuck yeah moment. Yeah, it's definitely, it gives you walk on air the rest of the day.